Oh.
Mute, is it?
Sorry?
Can you mute for a minute?
That might, yeah.
Mute everybody, right? You have to unmute again.
Douglas is on his way.
Right, go on.
I've just unmuted everybody because I've just muted everybody because we had some kind of interference just now. So do feel free to unmute if you want to say something. I'm not really meaning to shut you up just yet. Any questions or anything, or just want to have a chat, please feel free to unmute. It was just we had some interference. So how are we doing for numbers? Do we have Ashford here?
Yes.
Yep. I know we've got Airheads here. Bingham, we've definitely got Jackie Bingham here. Causeway, I saw Causeway somewhere.
Lindsay from Bingham's here as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
I've seen Causeway, yeah. Eric's here.
Right. Can't change my name, Jan. I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. Dagenham, I think I've seen Dagenham. Yep. The new ones from Dunelm, which is Durham Way. Is that correct? Yep, that's correct. Guildford, yes. Kings Hill, Moto, yes. Elaine. Saltburn, definitely saw them.
Yep.
West Lothian, Anne's here. Woolerton, is Woolerton here?
Ooh.
Anybody from Woolerton?
I don't see Woolerton.
No, I don't see anyone from Woolerton just now.
Unless Marion is from Woolerton.
If you're from Woolerton, would you like to unmute and just say you're here? Maybe they haven't managed to make it.
Marion and Jan are still two people who have not got their team names up.
That's all right. We'll get that sorted in a minute. No great emergency there. Okay, so any questions before we start? And welcome everybody, as usual. There are 11 or 12 teams, because I don't know whether Woolerton are here. If Woolerton join us, that will be 12 teams, which is great. I still keep trying to get us more people. We have a new team today from Dunelm, which is fabulous, but we've lost a couple of other ones who have gone off to do their own quizzes. So we're still doing all right, but I'm meeting some people from Wales.
Hi there, I thought I'd make the phone call in case we have to start.
I'm hoping to persuade somebody from Wales, because we have got England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, but we do not have Wales, not yet. That would be nice. So I think it's up to you, my dear. How
Right. I obviously used a previous code and got it wrong.
Oh,
That's Douglas.
I know, but I muted him a minute ago.
Douglas likes to be unmuted, don't you, Douglas? I've muted him now and he can't, he's trying to speak to us.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. A particular welcome to our new team from Dunelm, and but also, of course, a very warm welcome to all the teams who have been coming here for months and months and months. This is actually quiz number 9, I believe.
Ooh.
and I am ready to begin. We have 6 rounds, as Linda said, and you will find that, as always, the themes are very varied. So I shall now attempt to share my screen. Start the slideshow from the beginning. And we're ready to go with round 1.
Remember to explain what you're doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Got a new member?
Yeah. Particularly for our new member, what happens is that I will show you and read you the questions in each round. There are 6 rounds in all. You will then be given the opportunity to have any questions repeated that you still want to discuss with your team before you write your answers. And when everyone is ready, I will give you the answers to the round and you simply mark your own. We trust people here. We are U3A. And then using the private chat, you send your total score to Linda. Simply using the private chat, send your score to my wife, Linda, who is sitting opposite me and ready with her spreadsheet as we sit. Before we go any further, has anyone got any questions they want to ask me? Just unmute yourself and ask if that's the case. Okay, then, as they said, I'll begin.
Sorry, Ian.
Yes.
Sorry, it's Julian Dagenham here. One of our members is struggling to get into Zoom.
Okay.
She's
Are you
tried the
willing to
link.
start without the person and let them join you?
Well, we can relay the questions to her. So yes, but if you can bear that in mind in terms of time.
Absolutely. I shall
Thank
take
you.
it even more slowly than usual.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay. So round 1, as so often, I've gone around these islands for question 1, and this time round 1 is on cities of these islands. So question 1, named in memory of a naval victory over the Dutch in 1797, Camperdown Country Park is in which Scottish city? Named in memory of a naval victory over the Dutch in 1797, Camperdown Country Park is in which Scottish city? I always road test these quizzes with my brother, and his comment was, "Oh, very good. I used to go walking there when I was at university." So there we are. Named in memory of a naval victory over the Dutch in 1797, Camperdown Country Park is in which Scottish city? And the explanation of it is that the admiral in charge of the British fleet on that particular occasion was Admiral Adam Duncan, who came from the city concerned. Question 2. We're ready. Okay, Jill, for time? Just give me a thumbs up if it is. I'm watching for Jill to see if she'll give me a thumbs up.
Too busy relaying it to somebody.
Yeah, I think she still is. That's a problem. Yeah, we'll have to just take it a moment. Okay, I'll move on now. Number 2, what is the only city in Cornwall? What is the only city in Cornwall? So question number 2, what is the only city in Cornwall? Number 3, uh-oh.
We can just use arrows.
Oh, sorry, I thought the number 3 was on the same page, but it's not. Number 3, Pat Jennings, the most capped Northern Ireland footballer, and the golfer Ronan Rafferty were both born in which city in the province? Pat Jennings, the most capped Northern Ireland footballer, and the golfer Ronan Rafferty were both born in which city in the province? As Dunelm will note, we have already gone to 3 countries. And largely because we don't have any Welsh team here this month, we have 3 questions relating to Scottish cities, 3 to English, 3 to Irish, not necessarily Northern Irish, and only 1 that's related to Wales. So question number 3, Pat Jennings, the most capped Northern Ireland footballer, and the golfer Ronan Rafferty were both born in which city in the province? Number 4, with a population below 2,000, what is the smallest city in the islands of Great Britain and Ireland? With a population below 2,000, what is the smallest city in the islands of Great Britain and Ireland? Is that a new team arriving?
No.
So number 4, with a population below 2,000, what is the smallest city in the islands of Great Britain and Ireland? Number 5, in which city is the concert venue called the Bridgewater Hall located? In which city is the concert venue called the Bridgewater Hall located? Number 5, in which city is the concert venue called the Bridgewater Hall located? Excuse me. Number 6, which items worn by Billy Connolly are exhibits at the People's Palace Museum in Glasgow? Which items worn by Billy Connolly are exhibits at the People's Palace Museum in Glasgow? It's a very specific answer, this one. It relates to one of his performances on stage. Which items worn by Billy Connolly are exhibits at the People's Palace Museum in Glasgow? Or at least they will be again once it reopens after COVID goes away. So number 6, which items worn by Billy Connolly during his stage show are exhibits at the People's Palace Museum in Glasgow? Number 7, jointly with Rijeka in Croatia, which city in Ireland was the European Capital of Culture in 2020? Jointly with Rijeka in Croatia, which city in Ireland was the European Capital of Culture in 2020? Number 7, jointly with Rijeka in Croatia, which city in Ireland was the European Capital of Culture in 2020?
Could you slow down just a wee smidgen more, please?
Yep, sure thing. I'll just pause for the moment. Okay, let's move on to question 8. Why is that not working? In 2012, as part of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, which town in Eastern England was awarded city status? In 2012, as part of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, which town in Eastern England was awarded city status? So number 8, in 2012, as part of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, which town in Eastern England was awarded city status? Number 9, built by the German engineering company Krupp, what structures in Belfast are called Samson and Goliath? Built by the German engineering company Krupp, what structures in Belfast are called Samson and Goliath? Number 9, built by the German engineering company Krupp, what structures in Belfast are called Samson and Goliath? And finally, number 10, what is the most northerly city in the United Kingdom? What is the most northerly city in the United Kingdom? Now, if any team would like to hear a question again, please unmute and let me know, and I'll ask it again. Any questions required? Are we ready for the answers? Yes, no?
People look like they're still discussing a
Yep.
little bit.
Yep, a couple of them do there on my screen too, yeah. But I've not had any requests for any repeat questions.
There's a lot of intense faces on my screen.
I've only got 4 in mine, by myself.
You can go down and look. Some people have finished though. Definitely. Kenny's enjoying his beer.
Still seems to be talking to Douglas.
Not sure what happened to the glass of wine we saw earlier. I feel like I'm talking to a vacuum here, dear. It's a really weird experience being online when everybody's mute, isn't it?
Do you feel you're hoovering about there, Ray?
Yeah, just a wee bit.
I do, Douglas.
Okay, I think we maybe, unless anybody wants more time and actually says so, I think we're ready to start the answers. So, number 1, named in memory of a naval victory over the Dutch, Camperdown Country Park is in the city of Dundee. Number 2,
It's right, somebody coming in.
the only city in Cornwall is Truro. Number 3, Pat Jennings and Ronan Rafferty are natives of the city of Newry, N-E-W-R-Y, for those who don't know. Number 4, the smallest city in the islands of Great Britain and Ireland is St. David's in Wales. Number 5, the Bridgewater Concert Hall, named after the Duke of Bridgewater, who was responsible for the canal, Leeds-Liverpool Canal, the Bridgewater Canal anyway, rather, which I think linked up with the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. The Bridgewater Hall is in Manchester. Number 6, Billy Connolly's banana boots are in the People's Palace Museum. The big banana boots. Number 7, jointly with Rijeka, the Irish city that was the European capital of culture was Galway. Number 8, the town in Eastern England awarded city status in 2012 was Chelmsford. Number 9, the structures in Belfast called Samson and Goliath are the big cranes in the Harland and Wolff shipyard. And number 10, the most northerly city in the United Kingdom is Inverness. Could you please total up your scores and send them by private message to Linda, by private chat to Linda? And she will let me know when she's received most of them, and then we can move on to round 2. Scores going in?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Well, Wollerton obviously aren't here, so the only one left is our new team from Dunelm.
Right. Linda, I've got the message typed. I just don't know how to send it to you.
Just hit return.
I just think hit return on your keyboard.
Did that work?
Has it gone? Let me send you one. Yep, it's definitely just return.
Well, I pressed return.
You can just
Right,
tell me on here and try again another time if you like.
Right, okay, it's 6.
Okie dokie.
Thank you.
Got all the scores, thank you.
Good. In that case, we'll move on to round 2, which is the demon drink. So, round 2, the demon drink. Question 1. The biggest selling beer in the world is snow beer, although it is sold in only one country. Which country? The biggest selling beer in the world is Snow Beer, although it is sold in only one country. Which country? I've seen the statistics for this and it's amazing. It's massively bigger selling than the next highest beer. So the biggest selling beer in the world is Snow Beer, although it is sold in only one country. Which country? Number 2. What is ironic about the location of the Jack Daniel's distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee? What is ironic about the location of the Jack Daniel's distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee? Number 2, what is ironic about the location of the Jack Daniel's distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee? We'll move on to number 3. Which cocktail contains no less than 4 spirits? Vodka, gin, light rum, and tequila, with the liqueur triple sec and a splash of cola. Which cocktail contains no less than 4 spirits? Vodka, gin, light rum, and tequila, along with a liqueur triple sec and a splash of cola. So number 3, which cocktail contains no less than 4 spirits? Vodka, gin, light rum, and tequila, with the liqueur triple sec and a splash of cola. Number 4 is about one of those spirits. Tequila is distilled from the juice of which Mexican plant? Tequila is distilled from the juice of which Mexican plant? So number 4, tequila is distilled from the juice of which Mexican plant? Number 5. By law, which type of wine must be made from at least 70% Sangiovese grapes in order to use the name? Not the name Sangiovese, the name of the wine. By law, which type of wine must be made from at least 70% Sangiovese grapes in order to use the name? Number 5, by law, which type of wine must be made from at least 70% Sangiovese grapes in order to use the name? Number 6, which country in the Americas produces a brand of beer called Brahma? The name like that, you might think it was Asiatic, but it's not. Which country in the Americas produces a brand of beer called Brahma? Number 6, which country in the Americas produces a brand of beer called Brahma? Let's move on to number 7. Number 7, the star anise and vanilla flavored liqueur Galliano is mixed with vodka and orange juice to produce which cocktail? The star anise and vanilla flavored liqueur Galliano is mixed with vodka and orange juice to produce which cocktail? No more complaints with time. So number 7, the star anise and vanilla flavored liqueur Galliano is mixed with vodka and orange juice to produce which cocktail? Number 8. In 1759, who signed a 9,000-year lease on a piece of land at an annual rent of £45 and built a brewery which still operates? In 1759, who signed a 9,000-year lease on a piece of land at an annual rent of £45 and built a brewery which still operates? That must be one of the best pieces of business ever done. An annual rent of £45, and here we are 250 years later and it's still £45. In 1759, who signed a 9,000-year lease on a piece of land at an annual rent of £45 and built a brewery which still operates? Number 9. Sambuca con la mosca, literally translated as sambuca with flies, is served with 3 coffee beans, i.e. the flies. Traditionally, what do the coffee beans represent? Sambuca con la mosca, literally sambuca with flies, is served with 3 coffee beans. Traditionally, what do the coffee beans represent? Number 9. Sambuca con la mosca, literally sambuca with flies, is served with 3 coffee beans. Traditionally, what do the coffee beans represent? And number 10, which brand of Scotch whisky is named after a famous ship? Which brand of Scotch whisky is named after a famous ship? And once again, if anyone would like any question repeated, please unmute and let me know. Number 10, which brand of Scotch whisky is named after a famous ship? I'll just put this back to the beginning of the round. There are the first 3. Okay, anyone want any question repeated? Are we ready for the answers then? What's your impression, Linda? Are they ready for the answers?
Some people still chatting, but
So I'd like 7 and 9 again, please.
Certainly, 7 and 9. I'll put up number 7 first. Number 7, the star anise and vanilla flavored liqueur Galliano is mixed with vodka and orange juice to produce which cocktail?
Okay.
And number 9, Sambuca con la mosca, literally sambuca with flies, is served with 3 coffee beans. Traditionally, what do the coffee beans represent?
Thank you.
What was number 5 again?
Certainly.
Thank you.
By law, which type of wine must be made from at least 70% Sangiovese grapes in order to use the name? Ready for the answers then? Okay, in default of anybody saying no, 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 give us more time, I shall give you the answers. Question 1, snow beer is from China. Number 2, what is ironic about the Jack Daniel's distillery is that Lynchburg is in Moore County, Tennessee, and that Moore County is a dry county in which the sale of alcohol is forbidden. So it's made in a county of the state of Tennessee in which the sale of alcohol is forbidden. Number 3, the cocktail containing all those spirits and triple sec and a splash of cola is Long Island iced tea. There is no tea anywhere near Long Island iced tea. Just lots and lots of spirits and a liqueur. Apparently the iced tea bit comes from the splash of cola, giving it a colour that looks a bit like tea. Number 4, tequila is distilled from the juice of the blue agave plant. A-G-A-V-E. I'll take just agave on its own without the blue, but it's the blue agave plant. Number 5, the Sangiovese grapes must dominate in Chianti. Number 6, Brahma beer comes from Brazil. Number 7, this Galliano with vodka and orange juice is a Harvey Wallbanger. Number 8, I'll be amazed if anybody got this wrong, it's Arthur Guinness. Number 9, the coffee beans traditionally represent health, wealth, and happiness. And number 10, the brand of Scotch whisky named after a famous ship is Cutty Sark. So once again, if you could add up your scores and send them by private chat to Linda. While I stop this share because we are now moving on to round 3, which is a sound round, and I'll just put that up for a moment. That I'm going to play 10 pieces of music, all in instrumental arrangements. And all you have to do is name the composer of the music in each case. So I'll stop the share because I'll need to share the music separately. Uh-oh. And now I'll start sharing the music.
I haven't got all the results yet.
That's all right. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm just putting it up. I'm just putting it up.
We've got one person, one team saying, giving me a score, not bad score, saying we're not alcoholics, and another team giving a higher score and saying, and I'm teetotal.
Now.
Oh, Vera's fans, you did that time. Fabulous. I'll tell you, there's a couple of teams who definitely do a bit of drinking. Thank you for the scores. Yeah, thank you for the scores.
Bingham are good at drinking.
Sorry, what was that?
Bingham are good at drinking.
Well, that was the ones I was looking at just then.
Yeah.
I've got a wee problem here.
What have you got a wee problem with?
I can't get the full screen.
Do you need the full
I
screen?
did. Yeah, I do. It's because otherwise I can't get the share screen up. There we are. Share screen, advanced, music or computer sound.
Actually, the scores were pretty damn good. Obviously, know more about your drinks than you do about cities.
Okay, so if we're ready, then I'll move on to round 3. And as I say, I'm going to play you 10 pieces of music, all in instrumental versions. There's some of them, in fact, are songs. And you have to identify the composer of the music in each case. I make one or two comments as we go along that will maybe clarify things for you. But first of all, I want to do a sound check. And so my sound check is this test here. Can you please confirm that you can hear it? Okay, can everyone hear that? Linda's watching.
I'm not actually.
I don't know whether people can hear it or not because they haven't told me.
Some of us are sticking up our virtual thumbs.
Oh,
they
that's
are,
good.
Yes, it's all right. I was too
And-
busy.
Now,
sorting
I
out the spreadsheet.
nearly included that one in the actual round, but then changed my mind. It's Franz Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody number 2. However, the rest, I'm only interested in the composer of the music. Who wrote the music? Here is the first one.
Yes, the Western one.
Somebody's not muted. Could you mute everybody except me, please, Liv?
Yeah, I'm just catching up on most people have muted.
Okay. Number 2, who wrote this very famous piece of piano music? That's number 2. Who wrote that piece of piano music? And who wrote this? Okay, who's that composer? For number 4, I don't want, there are 2 people usually associated with this piece of music. I don't want the person who wrote lyrics connected with it.
Ian, can you give us a wee bit time to discuss it because we're only hearing the music and
Oh, right, okay. My apologies, Douglas, you're quite right.
Can you hear each other? Thanks.
I was about to say that to him as well, funnily enough, when he stopped talking.
Well, actually, I'm going to go back and do
He
this.
doesn't listen to you, Linda.
Oh, I hadn't had a chance to get him to listen to me.
I'm going to go back and play the first 3 again then. First one.
And then don't talk afterwards.
I was just thinking that they were getting half a minute of music to talk to each other because they wouldn't be hearing each other.
You can mute, you know.
Not easily.
We can hear you.
I know. See, I was telling him he could mute. Forgotten how to do it. I can mute him though.
Will we hear what he's playing if he's muted?
His piano's not muted.
No, I wasn't going to mute him for the whole lot, just for that minute while he was having it, while I was telling him to behave.
Okay, number 2.
Somebody's humming. Are people breaking out into song next?
You never know. Number 3. Okay, by now I think I could probably give you number 4. And for number 4, you will perhaps associate this with a partnership, but I only want to know who the composer of the music was, not the person who often wrote lyrics for their songs. Okay, that's number 4. And I'll give you a moment or two to discuss that one before we move on to the next one. Okay, number 5. Again, this one you might associate with a writing partnership. And this time it's a man and a woman. But my understanding and my research suggests that the man was the lyricist. So I want to know the name of the woman who wrote the music. Okay, who was the female member of that writing partnership who wrote the music for that very well-known song? I'll move on to number 6. Number 6, again, who's the composer? Right, that's number 6.
It'd be useful to be able to lip read in this when folk are talking to each other on the telephone.
Oh, Well, if you can manage that, Anne, that'll be quite an
can't.
advantage.
I'm no good at lip reading, which is just as well.
Don't let read me.
Well, there's actually a quiz I take part in that on one occasion somebody told me that they'd read some of the answers off my lips.
Mm.
Okay, number 7. Again, who's the composer? Here you go, that's number 7. I'll give you a few moments. Number 8, and this one is actually conducted by the composer. My memory from the recording is correct. That was actually the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra conducted by the composer. Who was the composer? number 9. Who wrote this? That was number 9. And in a few moments, I'll play number 10. So here's number 10. So there you have our 10 pieces of music. Who wrote each of those? And if anyone wants to hear a piece again, just unmute and ask me and I'll replay any one of them.
Ian, please could you play number 3 again?
Number 3, here it comes. Okay, any others anyone wants to hear? Are we ready for the answers then? Okay for the answers? Okay, here we go. Question number 1, or theme number 1, was the main theme from A Fistful of Dollars and was written by Ennio Morricone. Number 2 was the opening movement of Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto number 1. Number 3 was the overture to Mozart's Marriage of Figaro. Number 4 was Richard Rodgers from Rodgers and Hammerstein's Carousel. It's the Carousel Waltz. Number 5 was Will You Love Me Tomorrow, and was written by, well, the man was Jerry Goffin, but the woman whose name I wanted was Carole King. Number 6 was the Habanera from Bizet's opera Carmen. So Georges Bizet is the answer there. Number 7 was the opening movement of Ludwig van Beethoven's Symphony Number 5. Number 8 was John Williams conducting his theme music from Jurassic Park. Number 9, I Will Always Love You was written by Dolly Parton. And number 10 was America from West Side Story by Leonard Bernstein. Again, if you could add up your scores and send them to Linda. And then we'll pause for a moment and Linda can maybe bring us up to date with the scores, at least from the first 2 rounds. For some reason, Linda's spreadsheet is not adding it up properly.
It's all right, I'm using my head instead. Maybe not very wise, but there you go.
She tells me there were some very high scores in that last round, so that's well done, folks.
Right. Share screen.
Here are some scores. Ah, my goodness. Saltburn, is there anything you don't know? Again, some pretty high scores here. Every team is above half marks anyway. And 29, 26, 25, 25. Could you just check and make sure that your scores have been recorded correctly?
Send me a private message if you haven't.
Yep, that would be good. Okay, thanks, Linda. I now want to share my screen again. And now...
Now the bit that I have to concentrate in.
Yeah. You're not going to like this to begin with, but I hope you'll come to do it. I've done another connections round. I know I said I wouldn't, but I've changed my mind. And I'm making it a little more simple to follow this time and a little less threatening as well. So this round comes in 2 parts. In each part, I'll ask 4 questions. And for the 5th one, you have to try to identify the connection between the other 4. And for example, if the first 4 answers were Plaster of Paris, the Duke of Wellington, Jack London, and Moscow Mule, the link would be capital cities. So that's the kind of process that you're trying to go through. Then comes the interesting bit. I'm not going to do what I did once before when I did this and penalize teams who try to guess too early. What will happen is that as an incentive, each team gets one chance to identify the connection early with bonus points depending on how early you manage it. If you can get it right after only one question, you get 5 bonus points, 4 after 2, and 3 after 3. Otherwise, it's just 1 point for each correct answer. Now that you get your 1 point for each correct answer, whether you go early or not. But if you go early and you only get one chance to go early, then if you get it right, you don't have to give the answers to each individual question as well as the connection, just tell Linda the connection. So when you think you've worked out a connection, if it's before question 4, send it by private chat to Linda and we'll give plenty of time between the questions so people can discuss it and decide whether they want to have a guess early or not. Now, before I begin, has anyone any questions about it? About the process? 4 questions, 1 connection, 1 point for each of these. But if you go early, you can get bonus points. 5 if you manage to get it after only 1 question, 4 after 2, and 3 after 3. But if you try after 1 or after 2, you can't try again for a bonus. Any question?
So can I just ask,
Yes.
if you go early and get it wrong, you can't have another go?
You can't have another go in that connection, no.
So,
You'd have to wait for...
get nil point.
No, not nil point. You still get your 1 point for each correct answer, but you don't get the bonus points.
Okay, so you do get another go.
No. In each of the 2 connections, you get 1 point for every answer you get right. If you try to guess the connection early, you can only do that once for each connection.
Okay, got it. Yeah, got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll come clear as we go along.
Yeah.
Better do, because I need to make it come clear for me.
Yeah. I don't promise they're going to be easy. I'm not necessarily expecting very many teams to get bonuses, especially on the first one. But we'll see how it goes. So question 1, connection 1. The assets of which Australian-born businessman include the Wall Street Journal, the book publisher HarperCollins, and the television company Fox News. The assets of which Australian-born businessman include the Wall Street Journal, the book publisher HarperCollins, and the television company Fox News. Now, 1 point for getting that right. If you have a stroke of genius and work out the connection with the other 3 questions right now and send it to Linda, you'll get an extra 5 points. But you can only try that once. So if you're not really sure, I would advise you not to do it. It's not an easy connection based on the first question anyway. I've tried to make it a little easier with each question. So question 1, the assets of which Australian-born businessman include the Wall Street Journal, the book publisher HarperCollins, and the television company Fox News. I will leave that for a moment in case anybody wants to try for glory and get 5 extra points, but I'll be very surprised if anybody does at this stage. Okay, let me move on to number 2 then. Number 2, which Royal Naval officer provided the inspiration for the book Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe after he was marooned for over 4 years on a desert island? Which Royal Naval officer provided the inspiration for the book Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe after he was marooned for over 4 years on a desert island? And if by any chance, having solved these first two, you think you can establish a connection between them, then you can send Linda a private chat message, and if you're right, you'll get 4 points. I think I'll still be a bit surprised if anybody does. Does anyone want to send Linda a message, or shall I move on to question 3? Any messages coming in?
No.
Okay, I'll move on to question 3. Who was prisoner 46664? Who was prisoner 46664? You should, or you could now have 3 answers, and if you can work out a connection between them, 3 bonus points available. Now, this is your last opportunity to get bonus points. So if you think you've got a chance, it's well worth doing it, because you lose nothing by doing it. Anything coming in?
Nope, not yet. Give him a chance to chat.
Oh, I am doing, yes.
Can you mute?
No, you mute me.
What if I do then? Can you unmute yourself? There's only 2 people who get it.
Linda's had 2 attempts. Neither of them, sadly, was correct.
Right.
Okay, shall I move on to question 4 then?
Oh, I've got one now.
And they get a bonus, are they?
Yeah.
I've just
Somebody
made
got
a
it right.
guess, Ian.
Somebody's got it right. Sorry, Kenny?
They're having a guess, he said.
Okay, I'll wait then.
No, they've already done it.
Oh, they've already done it. Right. Right, I'll move on to question 4 then, so that teams that have not managed to work this
So
out.
if we go to, I mean, somebody else may have sent the right one privately and theirs is wrong.
Sorry?
Kenny's not sure whether they get the right answer or not.
Kenny, you're all right. I've got your answer.
Okay, moving on to number 4 then. Number 4, films starring which actor include The Last Boy Scout, Pulp Fiction, The Fifth Element, and Armageddon? And number 5, of course, is what is the connection between the above answers? And then we'll get this first connection marked before I do the second connection. So you get 1 point for each correct answer, and then potential bonus points for identifying the connection early. If you get the connection, but only after all 4 questions, it's simply 1 point per answer and you score 5. Assuming you've got all the other 4 right. Are we ready for me to go through the answers then? Because I'm screen sharing, Linda, I can't see everybody, so I don't know. Ready to share?
And nobody said that they don't want you to.
Okay. Question 1, the assets of Rupert Murdoch include these. Number 2, what happened there? Oh, I've gone the wrong way, that's what it is. It was Alexander Selkirk, who was the inspiration for Robinson Crusoe. Number 3, Nelson Mandela was prisoner 46664. Number 4, those films all starred Bruce Willis. And number 5, the connection is that Rupert, Alexander, Nelson, and Bruce are all the names of famous military commanders. Prince Rupert of the Rhine, Alexander the Great, Horatio Nelson, and Robert the Bruce. So we have.
What do we get for getting that after 3, Linda?
You get 3 points on
You got a 3 point bonus for getting it early.
plus whatever you got in the number. I've got the 3. You just do the.
Yeah, you just do the numbers for each question. Linda's got the bonuses. And now we move on to connection number 2. And as usual, the first question is the most tricky. Question 1, which American nuclear physicist and Nobel Prize winner coined the name quark for a type of subatomic particle? Which American nuclear physicist and Nobel Prize winner coined the name quark for a type of subatomic particle? And again, I'll leave you for a little while to work out, if you can, what the connection between that name and the ones that you don't know yet might be. And should you be ambitious enough to use your 1 chance for bonuses, you would get 5 points if you got it right first time.
I'm sorry, Ian, we need a wee bit quiet to discuss it. Sorry, Ian. Thanks.
Right, Douglas.
Assuming no one is now going to send Linda messages trying to get this connection straight off, let's move on to question 2. And question 2 is, which European dynasty took its name from a medieval principality in southern France, though it is actually the ruling house of another country? Which European dynasty took its name from a medieval principality in southern France, though it is the ruling house of another country?
Ian, I'm sorry, it says, though it is, there's any chance as though it was the ruling house of another country?
No, it still is.
Right, thanks.
Any team feel that they want to give Linda a message? Shall I move on to question 3 then? Okay, here's question 3. Question 3, who wrote the books on which the film Whiskey Galore and the television series Monarch of the Glen were based? Who wrote the books on which the film Whiskey Galore and the television series Monarch of the Glen were based? And if you can get some kind of connection between the answers to the first 3 questions, then please send your message to Linda to see if you can get 3 bonus points.
Yeah, don't say anything. Yeah.
Someone must have sent Linda in interesting things because she's smiling very sweetly at me there. Remember, this is the last question in which you can get bonus points. So if you've got a clue, you might as well send it.
We didn't have a clue, but we still sent it.
So I see, Kenny.
That's probably why Linda's grinning.
All right, I better get the mute on again.
You're getting a few suggestions, but only one is right so far.
Okay. Okay. Shall I move on to number 4? Honestly, this one I think will probably give the game away. Okay, number 4. In the 1978 film Every Which Way But Loose, what was the name of Clint Eastwood's Orang-Utan? And 5, of course, what is the connection? In the 1978 film Every Which Way But Loose, what was the name of Clint Eastwood's Orang-Utan? No point in sending your answers to Linda anymore. Just write it in for yourself and we'll go back to the beginning in a moment, mark them through and see how many you get. One team has a bonus?
For the second.
For the second one team is a bonus.
And for this first one team's got a bonus. Maybe you found it hard enough questions after all.
If I sent in a wrong answer, but I now have a different one, do I still get the point even?
Oh yeah, you still get the point if you get it right.
That's if I get it right.
If you get it right, yeah. If you've now got a different answer, then just put it in for number 5, and if it's right, you get the point for that.
Because from now on, it's just marks out of 10 like a normal round.
Ready for the answers? Okay. Number 1, the American nuclear physicist and Nobel Prize winner was Murray Gell-Mann. Number 2, the European dynasty that took its name from the medieval principality is the House of Orange. Number 3, Compton Mackenzie wrote the film, or the books in which the film Whiskey Galore and Monarch of the Glen were based. Number 4, the Orang-Utan was called Clyde, and the connection is that they all contain the names of rivers. The Murray River in Australia, the Orange River in South Africa, the Mackenzie River in Canada, and the Clyde River in Scotland, and also in New South Wales. There's one in New South Wales as well. So again, could you add up your scores, send them to Linda. Linda will add on the bonus points for the 2 teams, I think it's 2 teams, that have obtained bonus points, and add them to her spreadsheet.
So I'm just having the marks out of 10.
Just give Linda the marks out of 10. She will tell you, she will add in the 3 bonus points for each of the 2 teams that have got them.
One of them said they're not in the same mindset as Ian.
Well, we got the idea for this from a pub quiz that we go to on a Thursday evening. And I have to tell you that one of the setters there has connections round that are not in anybody's mindset but his own. Because none of us can ever get his connections at all. Some of them are bizarre.
Do I have Ashford's? Oh, I do now, yes.
Okay, we'll move on to round 5 now, and varying the tone again. This time it's going to be on languages.
Hold on. I'll ask Linda.
Yeah, what?
Linda, in that last one, we did get the connection.
Yes.
Rivers. But we didn't put that in because we hadn't. Oh, we'd already guessed it before. That's fine.
Doesn't matter. If you got it, you still get the point for it.
You get it for the one.
Right, that's where the confusion was.
No, you get 1 point for it if you got it at the end.
10.
You just don't get the bonus, that's all, Kenny.
Kenny, could you mute yourself, please?
Right.
Okay. We'll move on to round 5, languages. And after this round, when we get the scores in, we'll bring you up to date with the scores. Just for my information, Linda, I think we should share this. Who are the two teams that got the bonus points?
It was Airheads got the first one and Causeway got the second one.
Well done to the both of them. Well done. Okay, round 5 is languages. So, which country's name is derived from the Latin for silver? Which country's name is derived from the Latin for silver? I expect quite a few teams will get that because it's actually quite a common one to come up in quizzes, but some of the other questions in this round are not.
I know the answer to that one. That's most unusual.
So which country's name is derived from the Latin for silver?
I can even sing it.
I'm sure you can, Anne, yes. Number 2, in Swedish, it is ajo. It's spelled that way, it's pronounced ajo. In Russian, do svidaniya. And in Japanese, sayonara. What do these words mean? In Swedish, it is ajo. In Russian, do svidaniya. And in Japanese, sayonara. What do these words mean? Number 2, in Swedish, it is ajo. In Russian, do svidaniya. And in Japanese, sayonara. What do these words mean? Number 3, the words alcohol, alkali, coffee, and cotton all owe their derivations to which language? The words alcohol, alkali, coffee, and cotton all owe their derivations to which language? Question number 3, the words alcohol, alkali, coffee, and cotton all owe their derivations to which language? Number 4, which Greek word means I have found it? Which Greek word means I have found it? Number 4, which Greek word means I have found it? Number 5, what is the English name of the colour? I've checked this 1,000 times and I've still missed a T out. What is the English name of the colour called Gorham in both Scottish and that should read Scottish and Irish Gaelic?
Honestly, you didn't do very well with that.
I didn't do very well in proofreading that question, did I? What is the English name of the colour called Gorham in both Scottish and Irish Gaelic and Glas in both Welsh and Cornish? It's correct in my printout as well. What is the English name of the colour called gorum in both Scottish and Irish Gaelic, and glass in both Welsh and Cornish? You getting funny messages
I am.
about my literacy.
Well, yeah.
So what is the English name of the colour called gorum in both Scottish and Irish Gaelic, or Gaelic if you prefer to pronounce it that way, and glass in both Welsh and Cornish? Number 6. In its own language, which country's name is, it's pronounced Shiperia? In its own language, which country's name is Shiperia? Number 6. In its own language, which country's name is Shiperia? Number 7. The Romance languages derived from Latin include Italian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Which Eastern European language is the 5th main member of the family? There are some smaller ones as well, but the Romance languages derived from Latin include Italian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Which Eastern European language is the 5th main member of the family? Number 7, the Romance languages derived from Latin include Italian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Which Eastern European language is the 5th main member of the family? Number 8, in which country is a form of Tagalog one of the 2 official languages? In which country is a form of Tagalog one of the 2 official languages? Number 8, in which country is a form of Tagalog one of the 2 official languages? Number 9, on a menu in an Indian restaurant, which vegetable is called by its Hindi name of gobi, spelled either gobi as in the desert or gobi with an H? On a menu in an Indian restaurant, which vegetable is called by its Hindi name of gobi or gobi? Number 9, on a menu in an Indian restaurant, which vegetable is called by its Hindi name of gobi or gobi? And number 10, named for the wedge-shaped impressions on the clay tablets on which it's been found, what name is given to the script used to record the ancient Sumerian language of Mesopotamia? Named for the wedge-shaped impressions on the clay tablets on which it has been found, what name is given to the script used to record the ancient Sumerian language of Mesopotamia? And once again, if there's anyone who would like to hear a question again, just unmute and ask.
Could I have, it's 6, I think I need to, again.
In its own language, which country's name is Shiperia?
Oh, no, it's not that one then. It must be 7.
Must be 7. In that case, we'll move to 7. The Romance languages derived from Latin include Italian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Which Eastern European language is the 5th main member of the family?
Right, thanks.
Okay.
It was 6. I was getting myself.
Well, number 6 is in its own language. Which country's name is Shiperia?
Ian, could you show us 10 again, please?
Certainly can.
Thank you.
Named for the wedge-shaped impressions on the clay tablets in which it has been found, what name is given to the script used to record the ancient Sumerian language of Mesopotamia? And then if I go back to the beginning, are people ready for the answers now? Please tell me if you need more time, otherwise I'll assume that we're ready.
Wee bit more, thanks, Ian.
No bother.
We give in.
Okay. Answers then. Which country's name is derived from the Latin for silver? And unmute yourself and sing, please.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Correct.
Woo!
Correct.
I hope.
Don't give up your day job.
Number 2 in Swedish, ayo, in Russian, do svidaniya, in Japanese, sayonara. They all mean goodbye. Number 3.
Oh, you accept Cheerio?
Yes, of course. The words alcohol, alkali, coffee, and cotton all owe their derivations to Arabic. Number 4. Eureka! I have found it. Number 5. The color is blue.
Oh, wrong.
The fact that the 2 words start with a G, I thought might lead people to say green, but it's actually blue. Number 6, the country's name, Shiperia, is Albania.
Well done, Douglas.
Must be a stamp collector. Number 7, the Romance languages, the Eastern European language is number 5 is, well, Romance, Rome, Romanian. Number 8, the country in which a form of Tagalog is one of the 2 official languages. Well, the form of Tagalog is a refined version called Filipino, so it's the Philippines. Number 9, the vegetable is cauliflower. And number 10, that is called cuneiform writing. So again, if you could add up your scores and send them to Linda, and we'll pause for a moment or two and get the latest scores before we move on to the final round.
How many more rounds, Ian? One more round, right. I'll just turn to the back of my page then. I don't need to take a new page, a new sheet of paper. I just use up paper that's got things printed in one side, you see, but there's a space at the bottom of that one.
I said at the beginning it was 6 rounds, and last round's all the general knowledge.
I probably wasn't listening at that time.
I thought bedtime.
I've got a cat that thinks it's food time and it's not.
You've got a cat that thinks it's food time. We've got 2 cats and they always think it's food time.
Well, so does she, but every so often she'll come and start pestering me. And she did that just now there, but she's away again. I tickled her tummy and she went.
One of ours looks at you with big plaintive eyes.
Mine's got this accusing look.
Yeah.
You know, you're starving me.
Yeah, I recognise it. It's usually an accusing tone of meow that I get.
You'll double check that I've added these up right. Seems my spreadsheet's not behaving itself today.
Ooh, close at the top. Look at that, 5 points only between the top, 5 teams. So very high scores. Check your scores, please. Make sure they add up right.
Airhead should have got 12 for round 4. 9 right plus 3.
You've got 12, they shouldn't. You got 7 for the marks out of 10 and a bonus of 3.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
No, we got 9.
So you got 9 answers right, plus the bonus.
Yes.
I got given 700.
Well, whoever sent the score to Linda sent 7.
I know.
I can change.
Aye, but then
we didn't understand the scoring, but should be 12. We only got 1 wrong, and that was number 6.
Okay.
Plus the bonus.
Plus the bonus.
Should be further up the thing.
You'll be up in 3rd place then.
Aye.
Anyone else got any issues? Well, it's very close. In fact, even closer at the top now. Top 5 teams all within 4 points of each other.
oh dear.
So when Linda stops sharing the screen, I'll put mine back on again. Not from there. Oh, that's okay. I can fix that.
What's that?
No, it's me.
Ah.
I clicked the wrong. No, I'll do this. Hang on. I shall reshare. It's okay. Share the screen. What's happened to it? Somehow I have managed to close my presentation, so I'm going to have to reopen it, but that'll only take a moment.
I think you need to go on a Zoom tutorial, Ian.
No, I just made a complete mess of that. That was all. I thought I was in one place and I was in somewhere else.
He doesn't need to go on a tutorial. He's got me.
That's true. I have the champion, the boss.
I'm just trying to plug them, you know.
I know you are, Anne. Do people know about them? You could actually advertise it right now.
Well, if they're already here, then they don't need my tutorials.
Well, they might, but however, they're doing well.
Although I do go beyond the basics. I do teach how to set up your own meeting.
Are you
Right.
sorted yet?
I've sorted it.
Are you sorted? Good.
I am. On to general knowledge. Here we go with the general knowledge. Question number 1. The monarch of which country occupies the chrysanthemum throne? The monarch of which country
Japan.
occupies the chrysanthemum?
Defu.
Somebody is not muted.
Yeah, I was just going through to find out who they were.
I think it was Eric.
I found one.
So number 1, the monarch of which country occupies the chrysanthemum throne? Number 1, the monarch of which country occupies the chrysanthemum throne? Number 2, which class of creatures, a group within the arthropod phylum, do scorpions belong? To which class of creatures, a group within the arthropod phylum, do scorpions belong? Question 2. To which class of creatures, a group within the arthropod phylum, do scorpions belong? Question 3. Which SI unit measures the amount of visible light emitted by a source in a defined period of time? Which SI unit measures the amount of visible light emitted by a source in a defined period of time? Number 3, which SI unit measures the amount of visible light emitted by a source in a defined period of time? Number 4, who recited her poem on the pulse of morning at the inauguration of Bill Clinton as US President in 1993? Who recited her poem on the pulse of morning at the inauguration of Bill Clinton as US President in 1993? So number 4, who recited her poem on the pulse of morning at the inauguration of Bill Clinton as US President in 1993? Number 5, by what animal-related nickname are referees in American football known? By what animal-related nickname are referees in American football known? Also in some other sports in the States, but best known in American football. So number 5, by what animal-related nickname are referees in American football known? Number 6, which winner of the Man Booker Prize wrote the novel Arthur and George, whose focal point was the real-life case of the Great Whirley Outrages, a series of animal mutilations in 1903? That book was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, but it was for another book that this author was awarded the prize. Which winner of the Man Booker Prize wrote the novel Arthur and George, whose focal point was the real-life case of the Great Whirley Outrages, a series of animal mutilations in 1903? Number 6, which winner of the Man Booker Prize wrote the novel Arthur and George, whose focal point was the real-life case of the Great Whirley Outrages, a series of animal mutilations in 1903. Number 7, which islands are divided by the Strait of Bonifacio? Which islands are divided by the Strait of Bonifacio? Number 7, which islands are divided by the Strait of Bonifacio? Number 8. In the game of Scrabble, there are 8 triple word squares. How many double word squares are there? In the game Scrabble, there are 8 triple word squares. How many double word squares are there? Number 8. In the game Scrabble, there are 8 triple word squares. How many double word squares are there? Number 9. In 1991, who became the first British astronaut and the first woman to visit the Mir space station? In 1991, who became the first British astronaut and the first woman to visit the Mir space station? Number 9, in 1991, who became the first British astronaut and the first woman to visit the Mir space station? And finally, number 10, in mathematics, what is the name for a straight line which cuts a curve in at least 2 places? In mathematics, what is the name for a straight line which cuts a curve in at least 2 places? Number 10, in mathematics, what is the name for a straight line which cuts a curve in at least 2 places? And again, if there's any question you would like me to repeat, just unmute and let me know. So are we ready for the final round of answers? Or do we need more time? Let me know if you need more time.
Ian, the number 1, when you say monarch, that could be a king or a queen or an emperor.
Absolutely. Right? It could be any of the above.
Thank you.
Ian, what was number 4, please?
Who recited her poem On the Pulse of Morning at the inauguration of Bill Clinton as US President in 1993? Any others? Okay, does any team need any more time or are we ready to go? If you want more time, please let me know. If not, I'll assume that we're ready to go. Okay, the answers are as follows. Question 1, the monarch of the country that occupies a chrysanthemum throne is the Emperor of Japan. Number 2, scorpions belong to the class of arachnids. Number 3, the SI unit measuring the amount of visible light emitted by a source in a defined period of time is the lumen, L-U-M-E-N. Number 4, Maya Angelou recited her poem On the Pulse of Morning at Bill Clinton's inauguration. Number 5, referees in American football are known as zebras because of their black and white striped tops. Number 6, the winner of the Man Booker Prize was Julian Barnes. Now, I've actually read both Arthur and George, which was shortlisted, and The Sense of an Ending, which actually won the Man Booker Prize. In my opinion, Arthur and George is a much, much better book than The Sense of an Ending, but there you go. People's opinions can differ. Number 7, the islands divided by the Strait of Bonifacio are Sardinia and Corsica. Bonifacio is a small town at the very top end of Sardinia. Number 8, the double word squares, there are 17 because there are 4 coming in on each diagonal from the corners and the central square. So it's 17. Number 9, Helen Sharman became the first British astronaut and also the first woman to visit the Mir space station, which made her also be the first Western European cosmonaut. And finally, a straight line cutting a curve in at least 2 places is a secant, S-E-C-A-N-T, a secant. So if people could tot their scores up and send them to Linda, and we'll find out whether I'm going to need my tie-break question or not.
Ooh, do you have one?
Yes.
It's about time we did, really. It'd be great fun. Have we had one? Have we had a tie-break yet?
Not in this one, I don't think. We came very close on one occasion.
Ian, you obviously won't accept chord for answer to number 10.
No, because that's not, a chord is not a line that breaks it, that breaks a curve in at least 2 places. Because of waveforms of curves, a secant can go right through half a dozen or more, well, limitless numbers. No, a chord is simply a part of a circle.
That's why we haven't got their result yet.
Debating.
Yeah. Now we have. Right.
So we'll wait.
Quickly. Hopefully.
We'll let Linda add them up and then she can share the screen with us.
I think I've got that right. Let's have a look. No tie break, I'm afraid.
No tie break. Oh, well, it'll just have to hang over till next time. Means I don't have to make up another one for next time. And once again, we have Saltburn in first place. Congratulations to Saltburn. Causeway 53, Airheads 52, Bingham 51. Again, very high scores, people. Very high scores. The fact that it's 55 rather than 59 means it was maybe a little bit harder than previous ones, but there you go. So well done, everyone. That's a lot of very good scores there. Every team above half marks, that's encouraging too.
Everybody agree with it all?
Anyone think that they've got anything recorded wrongly?
No.
Quite a few 10 out of 10s for various rounds.
Interesting. No.
What is interesting? Do feel free to all unmute and have a chat.
Yeah, you're very welcome to do that.
Very quiet this evening. Oh.
Apart from Douglas, of course.
Okay, I'll make a lot of noise then. Linda, I have a special request for, can you find Ian's cocktail book and hide it?
No, it was a birthday present. Was it last year or a Christmas present?
It was a Christmas present.
Oh, and he's making
2019.
good use of it.
Actually, I picked two very, very famous cocktails for that round.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we did get one of them. We got the Long Island iced tea.
So there we are. So thank you all, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed your evening.
Right, we'll put the phone. I'll finish up the phone call now.
However well you did, I hope that you enjoyed it very much, and I hope you maybe learned the odd thing as well. I like to have some questions in that are that most people know, some that only a few will know, and some that even if you don't know, you think, oh, that was interesting.
Oh,
That's the
yes,
target.